You are with the India Today Mood of the Nation poll, the first big opinion poll being done since the BJP's big victory in the Lok Sabha polls, and plenty has happened in the country over the last few months. All the details, of course, in India Today's latest cover story.
So what we're going to look at now is what would happen if there are elections, and this will give you some sense because we'll break it up later for data from Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Haryana and Delhi to give you a sense of what may happen in those states as well. But Rajdeep's going to show you what the mood of the nation really is.
Okay, has the mood of the nation changed over the last 3 months? That's the question. Remember, May 23rd is when Mr. Modi won that famous victory. What has really changed in the last few months? Now, remember, we asked, if polls are held today, this is the India Today Karvy poll, if polls are held today, what happens? And take a look at how things have changed from Lok Sabha 2014 to August 2019. This is where the NDA is going over this period. And they are now, if polls are held today, reaching 357. Remember, the UPA, on the other hand, is declining. We are showing you the NDA is on an up, and now if polls are held in August 2019, they actually reached 357 seats. The NDA, let me show you that again, from 349, they had dipped for a while to 281. That was August 2018, just a year ago. Now, 353 Lok Sabha, now they're up to 357. So there's a 4-seat increase. If polls are held today, they are maintaining where they are, certainly suggesting a consolidation, Raj Chengappa. In effect, what we are saying, call it honeymoon or what, or second honeymoon for Mr. Modi, he is consolidating his gains of May in the month of August.
And also, let's all, since we have done it over a period of time and that the screen is flashing in that manner, the fact, I think it's a remarkable phenomenon what the NDA government and Mr. Modi has achieved. Because in our own polls, they had dropped to their lowest in January 2019. There was complete farmers' distress, there was joblessness and everything else. Yet, he's been able to ride that tide, move and, prove that he is
That's why
decisive.
your cover story is called Modistan. Well, are you telling me India has become Modistan?
No, there is a rare phenomenon that is happening across this country, and we need to acknowledge that there is a national leader who, in some senses, the destiny of the nation is tied with it. No, this hasn't happened in the past. If you look at it, the destiny of the nation in some sense was tied with Mahatma Gandhi. It was tied with Nehru, with Indira Gandhi. Now finally, you are seeing another leader after so many years where somehow the destiny of the nation is tied with his own persona and popularity.
This is unprecedented in the annals of contemporary politics, where a leader is able to bounce back after slipping. Ordinarily, once anti-incumbency starts slipping in 4+ years into your tenure, the graph usually goes down. It's very rarely that your graph starts going down and you can pull it up before an election and stay there after that.
But actually, Rahul, if you follow the Mood of the Nation polls for the past 5 years, unless I'm mistaken, apart from one poll, the BJP on its own commanded a majority in all your polls. So, in a sense, Mr. Modi never really slipped and never really faced the anti-incumbents, the nature which traditional governments or normal governments do.
It did slip, Ashok.
No, it slipped.
It dropped to close to 220 in one of our polls.
So I think that was the only poll
between that range that we're looking at. So why I'm saying it's a remarkable phenomenon is that the opposition had a great chance. There was this
after the 3 victories for the Congress in December. I agree.
And then what happens is between January and May, he begins to gallop. Partly Balakot, partly strongly, and I'd also blame the opposition squarely for not providing the kind of leadership to challenge his person.
And they sought to attack Mr. Modi on his strongest suit, which was...
That's right.
Ashutosh, let's build on the point that Raj Chengappa makes, that the destiny of India is now linked to the destiny of Narendra Modi. It happened with Mahatma Gandhi, with Pandit Nehru, possibly even with Indira Gandhi. His case is that India's destiny is now linked to Modi's performance.
I think that's a slightly overestimated statement by Raj Chengappa, but certainly Mr. Modi is a paradigm shift Prime Minister. He has changed Indian politics qualitatively in 2014, and so it will be interesting to know that his popularity lies in which section of the society, because if you go by 2019 parliamentary elections, if you take the case of the Hindus, his popularity is somewhere on the sky. If you take the case of the upper caste, it's almost 76%, 80%. But if you take the case of the other minorities, what the CSDS survey has shown, it's very clearly it has slipped among the Muslims, among the Sikhs, and among the Christians. So issue is that there is a qualitative change in Indian politics, and we have to understand the fact that first time Hindus are realizing that there is a Hindu leader and he will write his destiny.
Even you know, that's we take the upper caste Hindu point, but that's existed even before. I think the change, Rahul, and maybe Channa's sort of survey will show that is the 18 to 25 year. This is also a demographic shift. I think we don't understand the impact of the demographic shift that's taking place.
But I disagree with that,
The
Rajdeep.
urbanization, the middle classization, and the youthization of India.
Rajdeep, the reality is this is a pan-age group phenomena. This is not restricted to age groups, urban, rural. Modi now is a pan-India phenomena.
Now just a minute. Let me, no, 1 minute. And your poll can then buttress it. If you look at it geographically, Mr. Modi's popularity in the north and the west is higher than his popularity in the south. Look at Mr. Modi. Yes, and east. But his real popularity is in the north and the west of the country. Look at his popularity in the context of young versus those slightly older. You will find he is generally a little higher.
No, but that's the point I'm contesting, Rajdeep.
No, you're good. I wonder.
I just give it.
What does your poll show?
I just give it.
What does your poll show?
He's popular across all age bands now.
He's popular equally, or is he much higher among younger Indians?
No, it's equally now. It's 3 years back. It used to be a little more popular.
South versus northwest.
South is less.
No, but South the party doesn't exist in a big way.
So therefore,
but you left out the East. You're saying North and West. I'm saying East is equally popular.
Rahul, there is no doubt that Mr. Modi today is a pan-Indian phenomenon of the kind last seen in this country, possibly with Indira Gandhi. Let's be very clear. However, I think we need to also balance the fact, and this is my own view, is that India is a younger, much more urban middle-class country. And when you get urbanized, when you get younger, you're looking, and we are seeing this across the world, you're looking for leadership. Therefore, elections become presidential, your choices are presidential, and Mr. Modi fits in. Till the opposition finds someone who can match Mr. Modi's sense of, this sort of decisive leadership, they're going to struggle. That's my view.
Mr. Modi is the first post-independence leader who has actually expanded his party's geography. Nehru was an all-India leader, but he did not expand. He inherited a geography and had nurtured it. Mrs. Gandhi, the geography actually diminished, though she was very popular. Modi is, in that sense, unique. He's expanded the geography of the BJP into East India, 3 big states of East India, into the Northeast. He won an election
where you can't expand, you poach.
In Karnataka, without him, the BJP would have been wiped out in the last assembly election. We all know that.
This is the point I've been making. I just wonder whether, Ajit, you agree with this, that Indian election, and therefore our poll will show, when you ask a person a question, at the end of the day, who will you vote for? They're not just looking at parties, BJP and Congress, but also leaders. And on the other side, they don't see a leader. There is no other national leader today. Rahul Gandhi has withdrawn after the elections. He's not even Congress president. Who is that other leader? You see, it's the Timo factor. There is Modi only. That's my point.
In fact, Rajdeep, we had a question. Why did the opposition lose in 2019? Majority said because there was no prime ministerial candidate. After that, number 2 was that there was no unity among the opposition. And third was that Rahul Gandhi was not accepted by the majority of opposition leaders.
Rajiv, let's accept that. Why don't you now finally accept? And I've been going through these figures as I write a book. Rahul Gandhi has not asked a single question in question hour in 5 years. His attendance in parliament is 51%. How do you expect the people of the country to see him to take on Mr. Modi if he is not even going to perform in parliament? He didn't even become the leader of the Lok Sabha, of the opposition in the Lok Sabha. Instead, you've got Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. What's the message? That's my point. There is Modi only because there is no one on the other side ready to take him on.
I don't know what the message is, but what I'm here to tell you that if instead of discussing just this poll and the Modi's popularity and all that, if you were to look at more serious issues like the crisis in the auto industry,
we are
like
going to look at that as well. I am asking you a straight
question.
Be a
completely
Which
different
particular
picture.
segment? No, please answer that. Why is it that Rahul Gandhi, who had an opportunity, as Raj says in January, unable to measure up? The gap was only 10-12% at the time. Now it's a no contest. What changed?
You should ask somebody from the Congress party about this, because I don't know.
You know the Congress party. What went wrong in the last 7 months?
Well, there are...
what is the one big reason? What went wrong? Do you concede it's a missed opportunity or not? The Congress missed an
No,
opportunity.
it's a no
Definitely.
contest,
It's a
Rajdeep.
definitely. It's a missed
You're
opportunity.
comparing the chassis of a Maruti with the chassis of a Mercedes-Benz. There is no
Look at the
contest.
arrogance.
Till the time you find an equivalent Mercedes,
You've just,
the result of the
Rahul,
race will always be the
You have just
same.
proved the point I made about the media being a cheerleader.
No,
You
it's
just
not about,
proved the
it's
point.
about, sir, it's about accepting
You just
reality.
proved the point.
In the debate in Parliament, Sonia Gandhi is looking towards Rahul Gandhi when Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is making a complete fool of himself and saying, look at what he's saying. Rahul Gandhi says, kal lo main kya karu? He's sitting over there.
One moment. Are
Where
we
is
saying,
his
are we
leadership?
saying, Rahul Srivastava, that these are no contests? I mean, you track politics on a day-to-day. Something has changed. Let's focus on the poll. In January, the mood of the nation gave the opposition more than half a chance. In August, it's no chance. What changed? We can't just look at Balakot. What did the opposition not do that has, in a way, made Modi almost invincible?
Rajiv, they lost the opportunity, as Raj said. They failed the pulse. Rafale was too big to make a personal charge against Prime Minister. Chaukidar chor hai. Whereas the Prime Minister is working on a strategy of having a wide bouquet of diverse element in his election campaign. On one hand, as the youth factor you're talking about, Rajdeep, 4 years, 7.5 lakh crore sent out as DBTs. Now, you don't get DBT, I don't get DBT. 7.5 lakh crore in 4 years. It was going to somebody who is going to receive cash, which he never used to receive. He worked at every level to build a campaign, which was creating a very beautiful bouquet for the public. It was not the media, Rajdeep.
Is it pro-incumbency? You know, if we assume 22 crore families the BJP says benefited from the various schemes, let's assume there's duplication, there's some element of exaggeration, it's even 14, 15 crores. That's enough to win an election in this country. So in a way, Mr. Modi's politics of reaching, of this beneficiary politics, ensuring through DBT that cash, Kisan Samman scheme, cash goes into people's hands, all of that has happened in the last 6 months. Ayushman Bharat, these are all ideas. Why not acknowledge that? Why not accept it, Ashutosh?
See, Rajdeep, I think the first time the country is witnessing that how the science of election.
Yes.
He has devised a science of election that things can be micromanaged, can be microplanned, focused and done it. And here is a machine. Like, you can't compare like Congress party with BJP because Congress party itself doesn't have an organization.
You know, Dr. Patra is calling me, I must go across to him. Because he's calling me.
Oh, we forgot.
He
that he was
says,
there.
sunne ki shamta rakhi hai, like that young
yes,
Ladakh MP. No, 1 second.
Let's just say that I want to take your leave since you need more of Ashutosh.
Yeah,
no,
one second.
I'm very humbly I was saying that please give me leave because you want to go to Ashutosh to know about BJP while the BJP spokesperson is sitting over here.
We want to go to Dr. Patra. Go on, Dr. Patra.
Let me complete. I have some other
Let it
chapter
finish and
also
then you
to
can
attend.
respond.
Thank you. Ashutosh can give you more insights about BJP. Since I don't know, he may join the BJP.
Come on now, Patra, Dr. Patra. Don't, rootha hua Patra is not we want. Patra, you explain.
You give me, you should not be knowing what is happening.
Mr. Rajdeep, you have
give me
been
the one
speaking
biggest
against
reason.
the Bharatiya Janata
Dr.
Party and
Patra,
against the
you
Prime
give me the
Minister.
one biggest
You should at
reason
least
why
have
the
the
BJP has
courtesy of
won so
allowing
well.
the spokesperson of BJP to speak. No,
Please go
Mr.
ahead.
Rajdeep,
Please
you
go
have
ahead.
been right now, you said that it was a honeymoon phase of Mr. Modi, that's why he's so popular.
No.
I am the spokesperson of the party. Sir, allow me to at least counter what you are saying. You are feeding all kind of wrong things to the
Okay, go on,
viewers
go on,
over
Dr.
here.
Patra,
I
make
am
your
here.
point.
While I am here, you cut off my voice. You don't allow me to come into the debate.
Okay,
Why?
make your point,
Is
Dr.
Mr.
Patra.
Rajiv Desai and Ashutosh everything? Why? Why
We
Mr.
were
Desai
asking
is
them,
to speak all these
Dr.
things
Patra,
against Mr.
Dr.
Modi?
Patra, this is
Why
what
we have a
we were
spokesperson
asking
of
them
BJP
question about the
sitting right over
opposition
here?
and its
You don't-
failures.
you filter
Now
the
you tell
voice
me
and
what
you
is the
don't allow
reason
the
for the
voice to be
success.
heard.
Please, quickly, this is the disadvantage of not being in the studio, but go ahead.
Let him speak.
No, this is the disadvantage of not having a fair debate, Mr. Rajdeep. Allow everyone to have the voice. It's not just Mr. Desai or Ashutosh. Others also exist. Thank you. Let me come to the point. Number one, we are missing the real issue as to why the Prime Minister is so popular and why we won the election. How many Prime Ministers from the rampart of the Red Fort addressed about toilets? How many Prime Ministers saw to it that almost every house in India has an attached toilet? How many Prime Minister of India spoke about Beti Bachao? How many Prime Ministers saw to it that the 100 paisa that he sent from his office reached into the pocket of every citizen of this country? How many Prime Minister of this country, for you, me or Rahul, a gas cylinder or a LPG connection may not be of any importance because we have that since
We've
long.
mentioned
But
that,
consider
Dr.
the situation
Patra.
of millions of
Dr.
people in
Patra,
this
we've
country.
mentioned that.
No,
So
I
please don't
understand.
make
It's
us
not
feel
about-
guilty. Don't
I
make
know
us feel
that.
guilty. We've mentioned all these points. So please don't try and sort of
I
target the
understand.
media. Don't blame the messenger.
No, I think
No, I'm not targeting media. I'm targeting some people in media. I'm not targeting the media. Rahul Kanwar
Samit
has
Patra, do you
introduced the
expect
Prime
me to
Minister
be
for
here?
the longest amount of time. Amit Shah for the longest amount of
No,
time.
if you want, I can walk out from here. If you have such a
if the
problem with me.
Okay, calm down.
Please let me know.
What is this?
If
I
you
don't
are
have
going
any
to
problem
decide
with
that
you,
whom Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai will be asking questions and who will be calling in the studio, then please let
Mr.
me know.
Ashutosh,
I'll
Mr.
walk
Ashutosh, you
out
did
from
not
here.
shout.
No,
I am
because your tone and
participating
tenor,
in this
because your
debate. I
tone
was
and
not
tenor
asked a question,
is
so
very,
I-
very
No,
intolerant.
why not?
And that's
No,
not
no,
part
no,
of the
no
democracy.
tone and tenor.
In democracy,
You all have-
I can
you
equally
all have
speak
the
about the
biased
BJP
attitude, Mr.
and what is
Ashutosh.
wrong with the BJP and what is good about the BJP.
You can
But
speak-
you are saying
No,
as
you
if
can
we are
speak
the
against the
accused
BJP
and we
also
have no
that you
business
have
to
been
be
doing. I
here.
have nothing-
It's entirely
Just a second, Mr.
anti-democratic,
Ashutosh, you need not shout over here. I was talking to Mr. Rajdeep.
Okay,
that
one by
I
one.
also have my time. I
Okay,
need to get
I am-
my time to speak
Dr.
about
Patra,
BJP.
one minute,
Rather
one minute,
than
Ashutosh,
speaking about BJP.
Ashutosh,
I am
one
the
minute.
spokesperson.
We have
He
got
can't
no,
talk
no,
about
no,
BJP.
no,
I'm
one
the
minute.
spokesperson.
We have got 1 minute.
Rajiv Desai has no business to be here.
No, no.
I think you better let us know that on which channel we should go, on which channel we should not go. I know there are many channels who will listen to you.
No, why?
Okay, I'm asking you in 30
No,
seconds.
Mr. Ashutosh, all of these bunkam talks is not going to help you, Mr. Ashutosh.
No, no, no.
Mr. Ashutosh,
Gentlemen,
you know Mr.
we have to
Modi is
move on.
performing, and that is why your frustration
I
is
think sometimes
palpable.
you should
I
realize
was
that you're
talking
part-
on the
spokesperson
issues
of
of
the
the
national
government.
party.
What was
This
the
is
reason
not
for you
what
to
I-
shout
this
so
is-
loud?
you should
Just
learn
one
to
second.
listen.
Time out, 1 second. This will just lead to time
Let's move on,
being
Rahul, with more. Okay, let's move on with more numbers.
This is what I really like about
No,
India
what
today.
unnecessarily?
The fact
I am
is-
also
fade us out,
participant of
fade
this
us out,
debate,
please.
Mr.
No, not like
Ashutosh.
this.
It's not
We're very
all about
happy
you
to
or
have
Mr.
all
Desai.
voices
I am a
represented
participant. Why do you
on
speak
India
against
today.
the
You have no
Prime
business to
Minister?
talk
How
about
can
me.
you defend my
But
Prime
I-
Minister, sir?
Here you're seeing the classical democratic newsroom at play.
Yes.
Opposition voices think that we are supporting the government. Government voices being equally unhappy. That's just the role that we find ourselves in.
Let's move to the
Totally
next
at
big,
ease with that.
graphic.
Let's come now to the next story that we are putting out. This deals with the best prime minister across time. Remember, here the recency effect plays. Recency effect in polling is, naturally, if you're asking people now who they think is the best prime minister, whatever they're seeing currently gets additional benefit over past examples. So leave that aside. Here's what the poll suggests. 37% of the respondents in this Mood of the Nation opinion poll think Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the best prime minister India has ever had. 14% say Indira Gandhi is the best prime minister India has had. Atal Bihari Vajpayee is at 11%. Pandit Nehru now nowhere in the picture. 37% saying Narendra Modi. I want to show you now how this has changed over time, and this is interesting as well. I'll just walk across and show you the gap between Prime Minister Modi and Indira Gandhi across time. Remember, when Prime Minister Modi started out in 2014, Indira Gandhi was India's most popular all-time Prime Minister. You see over time from 2014 onwards how this poll has changed. Remember, as I said, anybody who understands polling accounts for the recency factor, but for what it is worth, this is what respondents said about Indira Gandhi. So she starts out at 23%, 21, 17, 20, down to 14% in August 2019. The Narendra Modi graph coming up on your screen right now, it starts out at only 11%. When he started out a few months after that, only 11% of respondents thought he's India's all-time greatest prime minister, went up to 20, 33, 26, now at 37. There's a 23% gap between Narendra Modi and Indira Gandhi, and this is interesting, Rajdeep, in this Mood of the Nation opinion poll. Samit Patra, I hope that makes you happy. Can we have a happy Dr. Patra? We don't want an unhappy Dr. Patra on our broadcast. 37% of the respondents in this poll say Narendra Modi is finally the smile. Now we want both Ashutosh smiling and Dr. Patra smiling. That's the point of being on India
Okay,
Today.
the smile is back, but give us a historical context, Raj Chengappa, who's perhaps started his journalism when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. The point I'm making, people are looking for leadership. Indira Gandhi in her generation provided it. Narendra Modi is seen to do it in this generation. In a way, isn't that what the poll is saying? That if you want to today be a successful politician in India, it's not enough to do your caste alliances, it's not enough to do your, your micro level management. You also need to portray a sense of leadership. That's where Modi is scoring.
Rajdeep, we must acknowledge a phenomenon is happening across this country. We haven't seen anything like this since Indira Gandhi. Haven't seen, the last we saw was Indira Gandhi.
Yes.
And Nehru and Mahatma Gandhi. And what you're seeing is mass adulation. Now, when Rajiv was pointing out earlier, you have the problem of auto industry, you have the problem of economy, joblessness, everything else. And yet, there's tremendous amount of faith in this one leader to deliver on all these things. Now, there is, that clearly demonstrates his leadership. It has its pluses. It also has its minuses. We can deal with each of these, but the fact is we must put on the table that there is a phenomenon, which I was saying earlier, the destiny of a nation is linked with an individual. This is happening now.
It's a very facile assumption that what is happening in the auto industry, in the monetary system, in the economy, elsewhere, has absolutely nothing to do with Mr. Modi's leadership.
Okay,
What kind of facile assumption is that?
I'll tell you, look, we have to go by the numbers. The Mood of the Nation poll done by Karvy shows performance performance of Prime Minister Modi. 30% say outstanding, 41% say good, 19% say average, poor is 6%, very poor is 3%. So you add the poor and very poor, it comes to 9%. Add the outstanding and good, it comes to 71%. So when I look at those numbers, 30% plus 41%, that's 71%. Now you call it adulation, you call it approval, those are words to use. We are trying to capture the mood at the moment. It seems to me, Ashok Malik, that the BJP's popularity is much less than that of the Prime Minister. Much like Indira again with the Congress. Congress without Indira was not half as popular as it was with Indira.
The 2 points I'd like to make. Because Mr. Modi is so popular, it doesn't mean people believe he's solved all problems.
Yes.
But there is faith that he's on the right track. People may be right, people may be wrong, that's up to them. But there is faith in him, there is faith that he's working hard, he will solve our problems. He has not solved everything, obviously, but he's on the right track. The second is, Indira Gandhi, till about 20 years ago, had this IPR, which had 3 pillars. One, risk-taking, decisive leader. Second, identification with the nation. And third, working for the bottom of the pyramid. Whether she was successful or not is another matter. But this was her IPR. Mr. Modi's captured that entirely.
You know, the last IPR he mentioned, nationalism, is an interesting one. This sense that I am, look, we started off with Kashmir. You know, we are seeing through Kashmir, through Pakistan, you take risks, you take big decisions, which are seen to be in the interests of nation. Ajit, it seems to add to your popularity.
Every question that we have asked in this survey, which is around national issues, like for example, one poll, one nation, majority 60% for Mr. Modi. Whether it's Ayodhya, whether it's Article 370, and on performance issues, again you find an equally high approval rating. So obviously Mr. Modi has created a new nationalism. The nationalism that Raj was talking about, you know, the nationalism of the freedom struggle, he has created a parallel new nationalism by highlighting leaders that the Congress ignored at one time, whether it was Subhash Chandra Bose or Vallabhbhai Patel or, you know, the other non-sort of Nehru family leaders. And at the same time, when he talks the symbols of earlier nationalism, which is when you see him saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai, that was a very popular, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, for example.
He has work to do with Muslim voters as opposed to Muslim support. But in a sense, like Indira Gandhi, he's positioned himself as above caste, above faction. He is India.
You know, so therefore, if he is Mr. India, therefore then Sambit Patra, is it, don't worry, be happy, that we are in the age of Modi. You know, like you had the Maurya age and the Gupta age and the Congress age, now you are in the age of Modi. Is it Modi more than BJP? Would you concede, Dr. Patra, that the voter is attracted by Modi, not so much by BJP?
See, as far as any ideology is concerned, that ideology has to be taken forward by an individual. Ideology automatically does not get spread. You know, it has to be an individual which pulls the ideology. And of course, as far as the present genera is concerned, it is Mr. Modi who is pulling the ideology of BJP. BJP and Modi and BJP are mutually in a symbiotic relationship as far as growth and development of this country is concerned. But coming to why Mr. Modi is so popular, let me tell you, as far as the conventional politics of the contemporary times was concerned, it was very obvious. You know, we had caste equations. You know, the day elections used to be declared, all of you used to break out headlines like these many percentage Muslims, these many percentage Yadavs, these many percentage lower caste, these many percentage SC, these many percentage ST. So this is what is going to be the electoral battleground look like. But Mr. Modi's out of the box thinking has reduced this conventional politics into more of a, I would say, something of the past. Today's politics is totally different. It is unpredictable, it is performance oriented, it is hard-working oriented. I've always said, you know, PM just does not mean Pradhan Mantri. P for performance and M for mehnat. Show me a second man in Indian polity today who can match Mr. Modi in performance and mehnat, and I'll give you the second mark.
But Rajdeep, can I contest what you're saying? You're suggesting that he's somehow way bigger than the BJP. Be that as it may, if Virat Kohli is playing for India, it's India that is winning. It's the BJP that is winning. Now, if Virat Kohli wasn't in India, then that's a different matter. If you were playing for Australia or something.
Let me just point to one small figure. The Axis My India poll showed 1 in every 3 BJP voters voted for the BJP because of Mr. Modi. If Mr. Modi had not been
like Bengaluru Royal Challengers because Virat Kohli plays for it. But how does it? Now, what turns on it?
If 39% had become 26%, you know, if 1 in every 3 had not voted for BJP, if Modi had not been there, you would be back to being a party of 200, 220 seats. Modi has taken the party from that 180 to 220 range into a 300 plus range. That's my point.
You see that in Madhya Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh.
That's right.
In the assembly elections, BJP voters did not vote Congress. Some of them actually stayed home.
You see, so therefore, that's the point that, you know, that's the one worry. You know, Dr. Patra, it's my job to also point out to Dr. Patra the possible areas where they need to work. They need to work in the south. They need to work on state elections where there will be occasions where the opposition is strong and just not having a regional. So today, if you want to take on Mamta, you're going to also have to build a regional leader, possibly. My point is, I think, Rahul, Modi today towers over the BJP. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind.
If I could say something there, I think in the first election, the BJP wins in a state.
Yes.
Modi takes them there.
Yes.
Modi won them Haryana. Modi will probably win them Bengal. I don't know. It's Modi versus
possibly,
Modi.
yes.
After that, Modi won them Maharashtra.
No.
But then it's up to Mr.
The state
Fadnavis.
leadership.
But the fact is, Prime Minister Modi is now laying out a roadmap for his successor as well. In the manner in which Amit Shah is being built, you have a better sense of who's likely to take over after Narendra Modi than you do in the Congress. You don't know who's likely to take over in the Congress tomorrow.
Let me give you one data point, Rahul, which I think our viewers need to know. The BJP in this election had 7.8 lakh booth committees with 15 to 20 workers in them out of the 9 lakh plus booth committees. The Congress, Rahul, doesn't have proper committees in 250 of India's 725 districts. Game over.
Blame the media.
No,
blame the media. Let's start blaming the media. It's the media's fault.
So
it's the media's fault.
That's not just Modi. The other man, I think, who deserves some credit, and I don't know if our poll has captured him, is Amit Shah. Look, when you've got 7.8 lakh booths working, functioning, versus a party with 250 district committees not in place.
It's the media's fault, right?
So it's media, machine, message, Modi and money. That's my view.
But Rajdeep, let's take a cricket analogy.
No, media, message, Modi, machine, money. The 5 M's.
But if you take a cricket analogy,
yes, cricket analogy.
he's got a cricket analogy. I'll come.
Yes.
You were talking to Virat Kohli. As we have seen, as long as Virat Kohli and the Indian team is doing well, adulation is there. The moment they lose in the semi-finals, the public opinion is so fickle, nobody even wants to watch some of these matches.
Which is why January poll didn't work in his favor because he just lost 3 elections.
I'm making a larger point.
Yes.
That while he has reached stratospheric levels in terms of popularity, with great popularity comes great accountability. The expectations are very high, and this is also, while it's a great pat on the back for Mr. Modi, is also a warning for the government, because very quickly public opinion can shift if you don't deliver.
We need to take a quick break. I have a very small cricketing analogy of my own. If the cricket team of India or Australia goes up against that of Zimbabwe, the result is likely to be the same. The opposition needs to get its act in order. You need to be as good a team as that of India or Australia to be able to take them up.
Absolutely.
India versus Zimbabwe, the result is likely always to be the same.
Channa has got you've got a point on Amit Shah. What's the point?
20% of people said Amit Shah's election management was one of the top 3 reasons for BJP victory.
One of the top 3 reasons was Amit Shah's election management. Okay, so my 5 M's, machine, media, message, Modi, money, still hold. We'll discuss those issues on another day, but when we return, we are going to the opposition. We've looked at Modi, his popularity is sky high. Where does the opposition stand at the moment in the mood of the nation? Back in a moment.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.